She knew exactly what she was doing. According to explosive new insider reports, Meghan Markle wrote that letter to her dying father with one expectation burning in her mind. She fully anticipated it would leak. Sources close to the situation are now revealing that the Duchess of Sussex carefully crafted every single word, knowing the world would eventually read it. But here is where it gets even more damaging. Insiders claim Meghan has no real intention of visiting Thomas Markle or picking up the phone to call him. Instead, whispers from her inner circle suggest she has been saving any potential reunion for the cameras. A Netflix payday, not a genuine reconciliation. The timing alone tells a devastating story. On December 3rd, the very same day her holiday special premiered on Netflix, her 81-year-old father was rushed into emergency surgery in the Philippines. Doctors discovered a 14-inch blood clot running up his thigh. They had no choice but to amputate his leg below the knee to save his life. While Thomas Markle was fighting for survival on an operating table, halfway around the world, Meghan was promoting a show all about the warmth of family and the magic of Christmas traditions. The contrast could not be more brutal. Now sources are painting an even darker portrait of what is really going on behind the scenes. Rob Shutter of Naughty But Nice has obtained insider information that is setting the internet ablaze. According to his sources, Meghan agonized over every line of that letter. She walked on eggshells with her wording. But here is the kicker. One insider revealed the letter reads more like a press release than a private message from a daughter to her critically ill father. Every word was measured, every sentence calculated. This was not a desperate daughter reaching out in a moment of genuine emotion. This was, according to sources, a carefully controlled piece of correspondence designed to protect her image first and foremost. The accusations go even deeper. Multiple sources are now claiming that Meghan only wants a payday to see her father. Those exact words, a payday. Palace insiders and royal watchers are speculating that she has been holding off on any meaningful reconciliation because she wants to capture it for Netflix cameras. Think about what that means for a moment. Her father has suffered 2 heart attacks. He has endured multiple strokes. He has now lost his leg. And according to these explosive claims, Meghan has been waiting for the right commercial opportunity to swoop in and film the emotional reunion. Her sister Samantha Markle is not holding back either. She has publicly declared that Meghan would love the PR of having journalists in the hospital covering a reunion. But Samantha insists her sister wants to control the landscape financially. She wants the monopoly on the story. She wants Netflix cameras rolling when she finally decides Thomas Markle is worth her time. But that was just the beginning of the nightmare unfolding around the Duchess. The revelations about her Netflix situation make everything even more suspicious. The timing of this entire scandal suddenly makes a lot more sense when you understand just how desperate Meghan's Netflix situation has become. Behind the glossy facade of her lifestyle brand and her carefully curated public image, sources claim the streaming giant is essentially done with the Duchess of Sussex. And that desperation, insiders suggest, is exactly why she might be holding out for a camera-ready reunion with her dying father. Here is what the public was never supposed to know. According to production sources who spoke to Rob Shutter, Meghan's holiday special was not even new content. It was leftover footage dressed up in ribbon. Both seasons of With Love, Meghan and the holiday celebration were all filmed concurrently near her Montecito mansion back in 2024. One insider delivered a brutal assessment, calling it the farewell disguised as a holiday treat. Everyone is smiling on the outside, the source claimed, but inside they know this is the end. The proof was hiding in plain sight the entire time. Eagle-eyed viewers noticed Meghan's beloved beagle Guy appearing throughout the holiday special. The problem? Guy passed away in January of this year. The footage was clearly old. Netflix was simply fulfilling its final obligation under the reported $100 million deal. Nothing more, nothing less. The numbers tell an even grimmer story. Meghan's lifestyle series landed at number 383 in Netflix's global ranking despite her influential status and extensive promotion. One source delivered a devastating verdict. She had everything going for her. Name, platform, press. But the numbers were dismal. Prince Harry's Polo documentary fared even worse, limping in at number 3,436 with barely 500,000 views globally. Industry insiders are now revealing that the new deal the Sussexes announced is not the victory lap they presented to the public. According to sources, the renewed agreement is not a guaranteed check. It is described as a face-saving exit strategy. Netflix is free to walk away if the couple cannot deliver on expectations. One insider put it bluntly, the Sussexes are on probation. This is their chance to prove they are worth the bandwidth. If they cannot bring the drama, Netflix will move on. And there it is, the word that explains everything, drama. Netflix wants bombshells. They want the kind of explosive content that made the Oprah interview a global phenomenon. They want tears, revelations, and raw emotional moments that break the internet. What better drama could Meghan possibly deliver than a tearful reunion with her estranged, dying father? a reconciliation 7 years in the making, captured exclusively for Netflix cameras. Sources close to the situation are connecting the dots. Meghan is terrified of fading into irrelevance. She needs a new hit, and she needs it fast. The next chapter could make or break her entire post-royal career. And according to those watching closely, she may have been saving her most valuable card for exactly this moment. The accusations about her calculated approach were about to get even more explosive. Samantha Markle is not mincing words. Meghan's half-sister has come out swinging with some of the most explosive accusations yet, calling the entire letter situation nothing but a carefully orchestrated PR stunt. And her claims are backed by details that are making even Meghan's supporters pause and reconsider what is really happening behind the scenes of this family tragedy. According to Samantha, the story Meghan's team pushed to the media is complete nonsense. She wrote on social media that nobody obstructed Meghan's attempts to reach their father. Hospital staff reportedly confirmed that nobody tried to contact Thomas Markle directly. Samantha insists this was just a PR stunt designed to counter the massive social backlash Meghan was receiving for her silence. Having a journalist present at the hospital, Samantha claims, gave Meghan a convenient excuse and a fake reason for not reaching out sooner. The phone number accusation is particularly damaging. Samantha revealed that their father's phone number has never changed. He has had the same number for years, hoping his famous daughter might one day call. He has his phone with him in the hospital. Meghan could have contacted him at any moment, but she has not. Samantha declared that all the media stories about a letter floating around are just PR fluff with no real confirmation behind them. Then came the most explosive claim of all. Samantha believes Meghan wants to control the landscape financially through a Netflix deal. She wants to have the monopoly on the reunion with their father. In other words, Samantha is accusing her sister of holding out on a genuine reconciliation because she wants cameras rolling when it finally happens. She wants the streaming revenue, she wants the content, she wants the commercial rights to her own father's potential deathbed reunion. Samantha did not stop there. She reminded everyone that Meghan's PR machine has spent 7 years trying to make Thomas Markle look slovenly and like a loser. This despite the fact that he is a 3-time Emmy Award-winning professional who gave Meghan a privileged upbringing, paid for her private school education, and funded her university career. Now, after years of ignoring him through 2 heart attacks and a stroke, Meghan suddenly wants to play saint. Samantha's response was as direct as it gets. She can forget that. It does not work. The accusation that cuts deepest is the simplest one. If Meghan cannot reunite with her father through 7 years, 2 heart attacks, a stroke, and now a leg amputation, she is certainly not going to do it for a Netflix deal. Samantha believes her sister's priorities have been exposed for the entire world to see. Family comes second, commercial opportunities come first. Royal commentator P. Dinah echoed these sentiments with equal force. She declared that Meghan only wants a payday to see her father, which proves she simply does not care about this man. Her heart, P. Dinah concluded, is cold. But the insider revelations about that carefully crafted letter were about to reveal even more troubling details. The letter itself has become the center of a storm of speculation. According to insider sources who spoke exclusively to Rob Shuter, what Meghan sent to her hospitalized father was anything but a spontaneous outpouring of daughterly love. It was, by all accounts, a meticulously calculated document crafted with public consumption firmly in mind. One source from Meghan's inner circle revealed the painstaking process behind the correspondence. She knew there was a risk, the insider explained. Before she sent it, Meghan agonized over every single line. She walked on eggshells with him. She loves him, but she simply cannot trust him. That final phrase is telling. After 7 years of silence through multiple medical emergencies, the Duchess apparently still views herself as the victim in this fractured relationship. She still positions her father as the untrustworthy party despite being the one who cut off all contact. Another source delivered an even more damning assessment of the letter's contents. It is warm, heartfelt, but let us be honest, it reads more like a press release than a private letter. Every word was measured. She had to protect herself. Think about that for a moment. Her 81-year-old father is lying in a hospital bed in the Philippines, having just had his leg amputated to save his life. And Meghan's primary concern while writing to him was protecting herself, not healing the rift, not expressing genuine remorse for years of silence. Self-protection. The insider called the entire situation heartbreaking but revealed the calculated thinking behind it. She wanted connection, but the past has made her cautious. There is love there, but also fear. It is one of the most difficult things she has had to navigate emotionally. Critics are quick to point out that Meghan has had 7 years to navigate this emotional terrain. Instead, she chose complete silence, while her father suffered heart attack after heart attack, stroke after stroke. Rob Shuter's sources revealed perhaps the most cynical detail of all. Meghan fully expects the letter to leak. She wrote it knowing the world would likely read every word. This was not a private communication between a daughter and her dying father. This was a public relations document designed to be scrutinized, analyzed, and ultimately to make Meghan look like the reasonable party in this long-running family feud. The comparison to her previous letter to Thomas Markle in 2018 is impossible to ignore. That letter also leaked. It also became the subject of a major lawsuit, and according to court documents revealed during that case, Meghan had written it with the possibility of media publication in mind. She drafted it to get her perspective across should it ever become public. History, it seems, is repeating itself with chilling precision. Sources close to the situation confirm that to this day, Meghan and her father have not actually spoken directly. There has been contact, but it is controlled. It is not a family reunion, not even close. The war with the Daily Mail was about to add another explosive layer to this unfolding disaster. As if the family drama was not explosive enough, Meghan has now reignited her bitter war with the Daily Mail. Her spokesperson launched a scathing attack on the newspaper, accusing them of breaching clear ethical boundaries by having a reporter stationed at Thomas Markle's hospital bedside. But the Mail hit back with a furious denial that is raising serious questions about who is really telling the truth in this escalating media battle. Meghan's team fired the first shot. Given that a Daily Mail reporter has remained at her father's bedside throughout, broadcasting each interaction and breaching clear ethical boundaries, it has been exceedingly difficult for the Duchess to contact her father privately, despite her efforts over the past several days. The statement concluded that with the support of reliable and trusted contacts, her correspondence is now safely in his hands. Critics immediately noticed that Meghan chose to attack the newspaper rather than express any genuine concern for her father's health. The Daily Mail's parent company, DMG Media, responded with devastating precision. Their spokesperson revealed that Thomas Markle himself contacted journalist Caroline Graham and asked her to travel from Los Angeles to be with him. As well as being a journalist, Caroline has been friends with Mr. Markle since 2018. She has been with Mr. Markle in hospital every day, providing him with care and support. The statement made clear that as soon as Thomas gave consent for his contact details and hospital information to be shared with Meghan's team, Caroline passed them along immediately. The accusation of ethical breaches was categorically rejected. It is entirely untrue that each interaction has been broadcast, and the suggestion that Caroline has breached ethical boundaries is demonstrably false and vehemently denied. In other words, the Mail is calling Meghan's spokesperson a liar. This battle mirrors the legal war Meghan fought and won against the Mail in 2021 over the publication of her previous letter to Thomas. She successfully sued for breach of privacy and copyright. But here is the uncomfortable truth critics are pointing out. Thomas Markle chose to have Caroline Graham at his bedside. He chose to share his story with the newspaper. He chose to invite the journalist rather than wait for his daughter, who never came. Royal commentators are suggesting Meghan is using the media war as a distraction from her own failures. While she attacks the Daily Mail for being present at her father's bedside, she conveniently avoids the question of why she was not there herself. The journalist flew from California to the Philippines to support Thomas. His own daughter could not be bothered to make the same journey. The pattern is becoming impossible to ignore. Meghan blames the media for every problem in her life. The tabloids destroyed her relationship with her father. The press made it impossible to reach him. The journalists are the villains. Never once does she accept any responsibility for 7 years of complete silence. The hypocrisy of her holiday special was about to make matters even worse. The contrast could not be more sickening. On the exact same day that Thomas Markle was wheeled into emergency surgery to have his leg amputated, Meghan's Netflix holiday special premiered. There she was, beaming on screen, waxing lyrical about the importance of family at Christmas time. She spoke about traditions and togetherness and the magic of the festive season. Meanwhile, her 81-year-old father was fighting for his life in a hospital bed thousands of miles away, completely alone except for a journalist who had flown across the world to be by his side. Critics have not held back in their assessment of this devastating juxtaposition. One commentator described the Netflix special as the streaming platform's answer to water torture. The show featured Meghan hosting celebrity friends, demonstrating how to wrap wine bottles in silk scarves using a Japanese technique called furoshiki, and showcasing her perfect Montecito lifestyle. All while her actual family member lay scared and lonely in a foreign hospital, losing limbs. The cognitive dissonance between Meghan's brand and the reality of her life has never been more brutally exposed. The ratings delivered their own verdict. With Love Meghan holiday celebration failed to crack the Netflix top 10. The show that was supposed to cement Meghan's status as a lifestyle guru landed with a resounding thud. Audiences apparently were not interested in watching the Duchess demonstrate flower arrangements and cookie decorating while ignoring her dying father. One Netflix executive allegedly called the special nothing more than leftover footage dressed up in ribbon. The message, according to insiders, was clear: we are done. Reviews were equally savage. The Guardian gave it 1 star and described the show as vibrating with a vacuous, overstyled joylessness. The Economist called it out of touch and questioned why Netflix had awarded Meghan a $100 million deal in the first place. Variety's chief correspondent dismissed it as a Montecito ego trip not worth taking, adding that the show is made with a great deal of love in the sense that the greatest love of all is the one a person has for herself. The timing issue simply will not go away. While Meghan was sharing posts on Instagram celebrating Harry's appearance on the Stephen Colbert Show, her father was learning he would lose his leg. While Archewell Productions put out a press release about a documentary featuring Girl Scout cookie queens, Thomas Markle was lying in intensive care. The priorities on display have horrified even some of Meghan's former supporters. Royal watchers believe this moment represents an apocalypse for Meghan's carefully curated image. For a woman obsessively concerned with publicity, who put so much effort into her choreographed public persona, these are devastating times. Her reputation as a compassionate humanitarian lies in ruins. You cannot preach about family values on a streaming platform while your own father begs to see you before he dies. The mask has slipped, and the world has seen what lies beneath. The 7 years of silence that led to this moment tell an even more damning story. The estrangement did not happen overnight. It has been 7 long years since Meghan Markle last spoke to her father. 7 years during which Thomas Markle has suffered one medical catastrophe after another, each time hoping his famous daughter might finally pick up the phone. Each time she chose silence. The rupture began in the days leading up to her royal wedding in 2018. Thomas Markle made the fateful decision to stage paparazzi photographs with a photographer, posing as if he was being fitted for a suit ahead of the big day. When the Mail on Sunday exposed the setup using CCTV footage, Meghan confronted her father. According to her account during the Oprah interview, she asked him directly if he had staged the photos. He lied and said no. When the truth emerged, their relationship was destroyed. Thomas never walked his daughter down the aisle. King Charles stepped in instead. Since that moment, the list of medical emergencies Thomas has endured without a word from Meghan is staggering. He suffered 2 heart attacks in the week of the wedding alone. He has had multiple strokes, one of which left him having to relearn how to speak. He moved from Mexico to the Philippines, where he survived a massive earthquake. Through all of it, Meghan acted as if he did not exist. No phone calls, no visits, no acknowledgement whatsoever that her father was suffering. Thomas Markle has never met Prince Harry. He has never laid eyes on his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. The man who paid for Meghan's private school education, who funded her university career, who helped with the lighting at her school plays and drove her to dance classes, has been completely erased from her life. Critics find it impossible to reconcile the daddy's girl Meghan once described herself as with the cold stranger she has become. The revelation from this latest crisis that shocked many observers was Thomas's choice of who to contact first. When he learned he was going to lose his leg, he did not call his son Thomas Jr., who lives with him in the Philippines and serves as his primary caregiver. He texted journalist Caroline Graham. He broke the news of his amputation to a reporter before his own family. Both his son and daughter Samantha were flabbergasted when they found out through the media. This detail reveals the depth of dysfunction in the Markle family. Thomas has clearly given up on meaningful communication with his children and instead relies on a journalist for emotional support. But it also demonstrates how thoroughly the family has been fractured by 7 years of Meghan's silence. When a father chooses to confide in a reporter rather than his own children, something has gone terribly wrong. Thomas told the Mail on Sunday he does not want to die estranged from Meghan. He has never stopped loving her. But with each passing medical emergency and each continued silence, that hope grows dimmer. The commercial priorities Meghan displayed during this crisis were about to draw even more criticism. While her father was recovering from life-saving surgery in a Philippine hospital, Meghan Markle had other priorities on her mind. She was busy hawking her as-ever lifestyle products to anyone who would listen. The juxtaposition between her commercial ambitions and her family crisis has left critics speechless and has done perhaps irreparable damage to her carefully cultivated brand. Just days after Thomas Markle's leg amputation became public knowledge, Meghan was messaging British television presenter Alison Hammond to celebrate Harry's appearance on the Stephen Colbert Show. Hammond later boasted about receiving the surprise message from the Duchess, calling herself basically royal. The timing was devastating. The exact moment Meghan sent that message was the moment she learned her father had just had his left leg amputated below the knee. Her priority was not grief or concern. It was publicity for her husband's late-night comedy appearance. The Today Show segment has become a symbol of everything wrong with Meghan's priorities. There were the hosts cheerfully plugging her as-ever products while her father lay in intensive care. They showcased the lavender honeycomb honey, the brut champagne, and the fruit spread trio inspired by Meghan's own recipe. The $42 jam collection was presented as the perfect holiday gift. Not a single mention of the family tragedy unfolding simultaneously. Critics noted that legally the products cannot even be called jam, they must be labeled as spread, making the entire enterprise feel even more hollow. Royal commentator P. Dina delivered a brutal verdict on the situation. Meghan only wants a payday to see her father, which proves that she just does not care about this man. Her heart is cold. P. Dina argued that moving forward, Meghan will be remembered for this moment for the rest of her life. She has shown herself to be a cold-hearted person when it comes to the man who loved her unconditionally the most. The commercial priorities extend beyond jam and honey. Meghan's team continued pushing as-ever products through daily email campaigns, begging and pleading for Christmas purchases, according to critics. The newsletters kept arriving in inboxes with messages about how there is something special about the small things. What about the big things? Observers asked. What about going to see your dying father? Surely that is what really matters at Christmas. P. Dina made a point that has resonated widely. People buy from people they like. They buy from people they can relate to. If people saw Meghan as a loving daughter who came to her father's aid, who wanted to be there and support him, then she might have a chance to sell her products. But when consumers see her father pleading and begging to see her before he dies while she pushes fruit spreads, they are not reaching for their wallets. Her brand is now inseparable from her reputation as a cold and distant daughter. The pattern of behavior connects to a much larger Sussex strategy that critics have been tracking for years. This crisis does not exist in isolation. It connects to a much larger pattern of behavior that has defined the Sussex brand since they departed from royal duties in 2020. The estrangements, the media wars, the commercial priorities over family connections. Critics argue it has all been building to this devastating moment of exposure. The comparison to Prince Harry's own family situation is particularly damning. When King Charles announced his cancer diagnosis earlier this year, Harry dropped everything immediately. He jumped on the next plane to Britain, flew halfway around the world, and spent time with his father even though the visit lasted less than an hour. He made the gesture. He showed up. He demonstrated that despite their differences and their public battles, family still mattered when health crises struck. Meghan has not extended the same courtesy to her own father through 7 years and multiple medical emergencies. Royal experts have noted the transactional nature of everything the Sussexes touch. Their relationship with Oprah Winfrey delivered a bombshell interview that generated global headlines. Their Netflix documentary provided intimate access in exchange for reported millions. Their book deals required spilling family secrets for commercial gain. Every relationship, every revelation, every emotional moment seems to come with a price tag attached. Critics now suspect the Thomas Markle reunion is being held in reserve as the ultimate content opportunity. The Netflix desperation adds another layer to this analysis. Insiders have revealed the streaming giant wants drama. They want the kind of explosive content that breaks the internet and dominates news cycles for weeks. What could possibly deliver more dramatic impact than a tearful deathbed reconciliation between Meghan and the father she abandoned 7 years ago? Cameras rolling as she walks into his hospital room. The emotional embrace, the tears of regret and forgiveness. It would be television gold. Sources speculating about Meghan's strategy believe she understands this calculation perfectly. She knows her Netflix deal is on life support. She knows she needs a massive hit to remain relevant. She knows that her lifestyle content has failed to capture audience attention. A Thomas Markle reunion special could change everything. It could be the bombshell that saves her streaming career. P. Dina offered a prediction that many royal watchers share. This is how Meghan will and should be remembered forever, how she treated her father. The commentator believes the damage is permanent and irreversible. No amount of public relations spin can undo the image of a daughter who ignored her father through heart attacks, strokes, and an amputation while simultaneously preaching about family values on television. The question of whether King Charles should welcome Meghan back into the royal fold has also resurfaced. Critics argue she would only bring the monarchy down. She will never be cooperative. She will fight against William and Catherine because she is jealous of the Princess of Wales. Bringing her back would be inviting chaos into an institution already struggling with scandal. The final reckoning for Meghan Markle may be closer than anyone realizes. The question haunting everyone who has followed this saga is brutally simple. Will Thomas Markle ever see his daughter again before he dies? Based on everything that has unfolded over the past week, the answer appears to be a devastating no. Sources close to the situation confirm there are no plans for Meghan to travel to the Philippines, no plans for a phone call, no plans for anything beyond a carefully worded letter that reads more like a press release than a genuine attempt at reconciliation. Thomas Markle himself seems to understand the reality of his situation. He told reporters he does not want to die, estranged from his daughter. He wants to meet his grandchildren Archie and Lilibet. He has never stopped loving Meghan despite everything. But even he acknowledged the circumstances might not be right for reconciliation. After 7 years of silence, after being ignored through every medical crisis, hope is a difficult thing to maintain from a hospital bed in Cebu. The damage to Meghan's reputation may be permanent. Royal expert Hilary Fordwich warned that regardless of what her father has done in recent years, he is still her father. He raised her as best he could with clear devotion. The refusal to visit him, the calculated letter, the commercial priorities on display throughout this crisis have exposed something that no amount of public relations can repair. The image of a compassionate humanitarian has been replaced by something far colder. Her Netflix ambitions now hang by a thread. The holiday special flopped. The viewership numbers were dismal. Insiders say the streaming giant is done with the Sussexes and simply waiting for the credits to roll on their original deal. If Meghan was indeed saving a Thomas Markle reunion for cameras, she may have waited too long. The opportunity for redemption content is slipping away with every day her father remains alone in that hospital room. The broader implications extend beyond just Meghan's career. This situation has become a cautionary tale about what happens when commercial ambitions consume family obligations entirely, when jam sales take priority over a dying parent, when Netflix metrics matter more than hospital visits, when a carefully crafted letter designed for public consumption replaces a simple phone call to say I love you and I am sorry. Samantha Markle may have delivered the most fitting epitaph for this entire disaster. If you cannot reunite with your father in 7 years through 2 heart attacks and a stroke, you are not going to do it for a Netflix deal. The suggestion that Meghan has been holding out for cameras has struck a nerve precisely because it rings so terrifyingly true to those who have watched her operate. Thomas Markle is running out of time, and according to every indication from those closest to this situation, Meghan Markle is running out of excuses. Drop your thoughts below on this explosive situation. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned because the next video is waiting, and you will not believe what is coming next.